Hi everyone, I'm Laura Saltman, and you guys have to check out the Keith Andrew Network. This is a guy that is about to take over the world. He's on a mission to spread positivity. He's on a mission to help people in the disability community, and he is going to do big things. And so if you're not watching the Keith Andrew Network yet, you should be.
Episode 559. That's right, it's 559 of the must-see, must-hear, must-watch talk show. I am your host, Keith Andrew, the one and only Keith Andrew, creator of the Keith Andrew Network. I'm here today with the beautiful and talented Laura Saltman, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you, 559 episodes, my goodness. That's amazing.
Absolutely. This is a passion. This is what I want to do until I die. You know, not do it from my bedroom, but I mean actually get myself out there and take it to the next step. Climb that ladder, so to speak.
We're going to manifest you a studio, okay? We're going to set an intention for you to get a studio for your show. So every day I want you to write down, my intention is to find a studio for my talk show. And just keep writing that down until we can create it for you.
Hey, you help me, I help you. Now, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's to prove to them it's not out to something. So hashtag break the labels. Now with that being said, when I send invites to people, and this is a new thing, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to add it. People are like, well, I don't have a learning disability. Why you want me even on your show? Alright, maybe I should clarify more. I use big words. You do not, okay, you do not, air quotes, have to have a disability to be on my show. If you happen to have a disability, great, I would love to hear your story. But it isn't mandatory that you do have to have a disability. I have interviewed actors, actresses, models, CEOs, professional wrestlers, comedians, school teachers, dancers, cheerleaders, people from WWE, people from TNA, that's wrestling, don't get your head in the gutter, TNA wrestling, Fox News, one guy I did a demo with from ESPN. So I interview anyone who I like, but you do not have to have a disability to be on my show. I just want to throw that out there because as soon as oh, you want me on my talk show, but I don't have a disability. Thanks for the offer. No, that's not the point. I mean, the point is I'm showing you as a disability. Look at what I'm able to accomplish. That's the point. But I don't know. It's, those people, I don't do the whole BS and I'm real, this is who I am, and this is who you're going to take. Either you got to accept me for who I am, or you got to make friends with the door. But with that being said,
that.
No, thank you. So I'm going to ask you some easy questions, I'm going to ask you some basic ones, and we're going to go to the hard-hitting ones. So the first one I was going to ask you...
I can't wait.
No, absolutely. In the first question I was going to ask you, were you a study nerd or party animal growing up?
Was I a studier? Is that what you asked me?
No, were you a study nerd or party animal?
A nerd. Was I a nerd?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sad to admit, I was a little bit of a party animal when I was younger. I was actually really shy when I was younger, and I think the other side of me really wanted to put myself out there and act like I was cool, and so in order to do that, I felt that I had to be a party animal. But the funny thing is now that I was like that in high school, I think by the time I finished college, I was over it. So I was actually quite mature for my age, from like 20 to 21 and above. So, and now, if I have one drink every 3 months, that's a lot for me.
What did you major in when you went to college?
So I majored in journalism at first. I went to Ohio State, and this is aging me, but this is back in the day before computers. So we used to type everything out on typewriters, and I was a terrible typist, first of all, and so it was really hard for me to write my papers and stuff. And I didn't feel like it was me. I didn't want to write things. I wanted to do what you do, which is I wanted to be on a talk show. I wanted to be a host. I wanted to be on TV. So I actually left Ohio State and I went to Temple University because they had this program called Radio, Television, and Film, RTF.
Okay.
And we actually were able to like get in a studio or go into a radio studio, and so that was more in line. So I actually graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Radio, Television, and Film.
No, absolutely. My last easy question for you. I love this stuff. People call me a loser. Did you ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids, or are you not into the whole human pyramid stuff?
Gonna have to say no on that one. No.
I'm a loser. I love that stuff.
I tried out for cheerleading, but I didn't make it. I probably would have gotten to do that if I was a cheerleader in high school, but I wasn't flexible. I'm still not flexible to this day. I'm convinced that in another lifetime, I am a ballerina who is like, who has fluid movements and can do splits, because I can't even like touch my toes. Not kidding, Keith. I can't touch my toes.
Would you ever be interested in doing one, or is it not your forte?
I don't know. I guess maybe. Why not?
You only live once, so knock it till you try.
Right, that's experiences. Why not? I say go out and do it.
One thing that caught my interest, that you are a multiple Emmy nominee journalist. So the first question I was going to ask you is, who influenced you to become a journalist? And tell us a little brief story of your journey.
So thank you. That's a really great question, and I'm excited to tell you about that story. So my dad, who has since passed on, but when I was a little girl, he worked for Westinghouse in Pittsburgh, and his law office was at the top of a station called KDKA, which still is in existence in Pittsburgh. And sorry, people are texting me. I can't turn that off.
Actually, I thought it was me.
Yeah, I can't turn it off. I don't know how to turn it off. So when the first time I ever would go to visit my dad, he was like, "Oh, let's go down to KDKA one day. You can see the station." And when I walked into this news station and I saw the cameras and the lights and they had all these like servers. I don't know what the servers were for at that time, and I was hooked. That was it. That's what I wanted to do. So from 6 years old, I knew I wanted to be on television. I knew that I was drawn to what you're drawn to, which is being in front of the camera. So that was my goal in life, and I hit that because I worked on it every single day. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I think not everybody gets to know what their passion is from such a young age. Some people don't figure it out until they're 16, some 26, some 76, and then they look back and go, "Oh, that's what I want to do with my life." And so I just worked on it every single day. Once I knew what I wanted to do, I would do fake interviews. I would, interview my friends. I would do talk shows in my basement with my Barbie dolls by myself. And then I decided when I went to college that was what I was going to pursue. And I always wanted to interview celebrities. I always would say, I don't want to be a celebrity. I just want to interview them. So I just had this goal in my mind, and nobody could tell me that I couldn't do it. And I think that's such a good lesson. Is like, we live in a world where people say, you can't, you can't, you can't. You know better than anybody else. Someone will say to you, "Oh, well, you can't do this," or "You can't do this." And you know what? That's so not true. It's about you. It's about what you can create and what you believe. And I went after that dream, and I just kept blinders on, not listening to people who told me I couldn't. And eventually I, met the right people and got offers for different things and turned my dream into reality.
No, absolutely. I am labeled mentally disturbed, mentally disconnected, retarded. I read and learn at a 5th grade level. I never went to college. And this is not about me. This is about you. Just giving the highlights. And I was told I was going to be a burden for the rest of my life, and I was going to be put in a group home. So one day I said, screw, well, it's up to you. Keep it PG or no PG?
Oh, you can do whatever you want.
I said, fuck it. I'm going to show you it's a disability. Well, I'm going to prove to you I can still amount to something. So I used my brother for an inspiration. So I watch what he does and I try to mirror it. And I also use my dad for inspiration. He's a famous teacher from the city. He had a lot of people know him. He had a lot of famous students in his class. And I just use both of them for an inspiration. It says, I may have not gotten to the point where you guys are, but I'm going to be one step right behind you climbing that ladder. I'm going to show you I can be just as good as you are.
And I think you're doing great. And honestly, it really is about believing in yourself, no matter at what level you are and whether you went to college or didn't go to college. It all comes back to your thought processes and what you believe. And if you walk around all of your life saying, I can't, then you won't be able to. But if you walk around like you have all of your life saying, I know I can do this, and you go into it with love and you get rid of the noise around you, you absolutely can create things in your life. And you should be so proud of yourself for what you have created and what you have overcome. And I love that you're out there sharing a message for other people that they can overcome it, because I work with people with disabilities myself, and so that I think what you're doing is perfect. So when you called me and said, would you do my show, and I think you said 5 words to me, and I was like, of course I would be happy to, because anytime I can help somebody share that message that there's always hope, there's always a way, I'm down for that.
No, absolutely. Now while on the subject, well, I haven't done my interviews as late, so my disability is showing more. And I hate that because I try to hide it. But that's the hint of the show, the purpose of the show. But what were you nominated for? You were a multiple-time Emmy nominated. What were some of your favorite things you were nominated for? Did you write stories? Were there books?
Yeah, so I was nominated for Access Hollywood when I was a correspondent and producer for them, working for that show. And then I was nominated, although I actually had left, so I didn't really get to pick up that nomination. I was working for E! News, and they were nominated as well for Emmys. So I was part of the production team and the producing team for both of those. And, I'm very proud of that. I think to be able to say that you're Emmy nominated is amazing. I'm still working towards the Emmy wins, and I have a lot of projects in the works that are coming down the pipeline that I would like to put up on that shelf one day that I won an Emmy for. So that's still a goal, and I'm still working towards it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I also saw from your picture that you were holding 2 books that you wrote. You know, if you're interested, I would love to hire you. I'm looking for someone to ghostwrite my book.
But no, I'm not a writer like that. What's your book, though? What's the book that you want to create?
It's basically to tell you about my story. But I don't think I'm there yet, because I don't want to say, this is what I did in first grade. This is my mistake, because I wrote a book of Illinois. And my brother makes fun of it. It says, when you overcome controversy, dreams do come true, even if you have a learning disability. Mm-hmm. And the book was filled, if it was supposed to be meant for comedy, it would be funny. Yeah. So there's typos and spelling grammar in there. And so I said, no, forget it. Because I'm not going to talk about, this is what I did in first grade. I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in second grade. I had pizza in third grade. I didn't want to do something like that because it's boring. But I don't think I'm at the point where I should write a book yet. But even though a lot of people say, write a book. I'm like, about what? So I'm looking for someone to work with on that. But the reason I bring it up is you have 2 books. And what can you tell us about them?
Well, first of all, before I talk about that, I will say that your book has already been written. You just have to connect the dots to it. So it already exists. It's in your thoughts. It's in your mind. You just have to figure it out. And maybe you're not there yet with it, but eventually you'll get kind of like what I call the divine download, and it'll come to you exactly what it's supposed to be. And if you don't write it yourself, just the right person will come along. Everything aligns, trust me. When you believe in the things that you want to create, everything will line up for you. So that book has already been written. I'm not a writer of like that type of book. That's not my forte. Mine is what my books are. So my books are written as like a more of a dialogue. They're more in a question and answer form because I'm a journalist, right? So that makes sense the way that I would write. So my books are the best way to describe them would be they're sort of universal laws and principles that we all should be living our lives by. They're a 3-book series, and my 3rd book's actually coming out in January, and I have 2 books out right now. And if you've heard of Deepak Chopra or Marianne Williamson, Wayne Dyer, those type of people, they're sort of in that realm, in the new age, new thought arena, and mind, body, soul. I'm sure you know that our world is kind of evolving, and so this whole concept of meditation and spirituality is starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, this industry is growing more and more, like Soul Cycle. I mean, who would have heard of Soul Cycle 5 or 6 years ago? But so now our world is definitely moving towards this whole mind, body, soul. So that's what my books are in, that sort of space.
Oh, nice. Actually, you mentioned you're in journalism, and have you ever done a press release?
I have written a press release, yes. I'm not a big fan of press releases because press releases are very impersonal. And if you're somebody who is trying to pitch segments, you want to, a press release can be an attachment, but you want to be personal. So I do a lot of like do-it-yourself PR talks that I give in different communities, and so I talk about like how can you actually get PR yourself. And so the biggest thing is it's about a personal connection. And when you reached out to me and asked me to do this, I didn't know you, but something that you said made me go, oh, who's this guy? He sounds interesting. And so people think, no, that person will never get back to me, or that person will never reply, and then they just don't do it. And I'm here to tell you that if it's meant to happen, it'll happen. So send that email. Try to connect with somebody personally. If you have a great story and you want to try to get it on the Today Show, or you want to try to get it on a local station or to a podcaster, don't be afraid to reach out to people, because people need stories, and when they stumble across a great story, a good story is a good story. So definitely, press release, do a press release, but make it a personal pitch too.
Well, if you could help me with that, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you tell me who you want to pitch, and I can help you come up with it.
All
for
right,
sure.
Well, I did make a demo, but we can talk about that off the air. But
Yeah,
it's the same thing you were saying. You want to get these people to interview you. I'm a big wrestling fan, if you can see.
Yes, I can see that behind you.
But only one's wrestling. The other 2 are mine. I designed them. I want Angelina Love on my show. I want Gail Kim. I want Velvet Sky and Ashley. A whole bunch of great wrestlers. And I had wrestlers on here. And one thing I do want to point out, it isn't going to be a blank shoot interview on, oh, well, what did you think of this match, or whatever the excuse is. It isn't a wrestling-based interview. It's the same thing as I'm doing with you right now. I want to hear your whole story, your ups, your downs, everything. It isn't just based on one thing. And when I met Gail, she said, I don't really do interviews, and I bit my lip, and I was going to say, give me a chance, and I will prove to you I'm not a douchebag, I'm not a scam artist, this is not for money, I am the real deal. And 558 people, shows you that I'm doing something right. So just because you're a wrestler, I don't do the whole. I watch wrestling interviews where they ask you the same question, and I talked to my brother about this. The same questions over and over. My brother was online somewhere, and this guy asked Jerry Lawler, so you had a heart attack live on TV. What was that like? It's like, who even asks questions like that? I would ask you the same thing I asked everyone growing up. How's life growing up? What did he major in? And you're making a new friend out of it. It isn't a wrestling-based theme. So let's give me a chance. Let me prove myself to you. And I promise you, you will have a great time. Because,
so have you gotten this person on your show yet, or are you still working towards it?
I'm sorry?
Have you gotten her on your show yet, or are you still working towards it?
She's kind of reluctant because she doesn't do podcasts. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to show her, and a bunch of them, that it isn't what you expect.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to show you I'm legit. I'm real. I'm honest. It's just, well, it's the same thing as you. You didn't know me through a hole in a wall. But you were nice enough to hear my story and give me a chance.
Yeah, and I looked you up also. You know, I did my homework and I looked to see who you are, and I love the message you're trying to share. So that's why I said yes. I mean, you know, I've done everything from CNN and MSNBC and Access Hollywood and you know, national shows to smaller podcasts, because it's about human connection. It's about, you know, people come into your life for a reason, and so if something feels right to me, you know, I'll say yes, and I don't care who it is. So, but you know what? Keep chipping away at that. And I'm a big visualization person, so I want you to every day keep seeing yourself talking to her. Like, see it in your mind, see it in your mind's eye. You having a conversation with her every day until you make it happen, and I promise you it'll happen.
I hope so. The next one I was going to ask you, you are a speaker. And you are also a TV and digital host.
Yep.
So I know what a TV host is. What is a digital host?
Well, before the internet, there was only television, right? There was broadcast television, then cable television, and so I was a correspondent for Access Hollywood, and I did some shows overseas, international pop culture shows. And then we moved into the digital space where everything was starting to be online. So now there's some people who have never been on a broadcast television production and only do digital. So I not only host TV shows, I'm currently freelance hosting for a couple of different shows that air on Lifetime, but I also do digital shorts and things like that. So it's about things that are in the online world. And so what you do, you're a digital talk show host.
Well, I guess I can put that on my resume. What were some of your favorite digital talk shows that you worked for, and what were some of your favorite TV shows, TV hostess that you worked with?
Well, my favorite would be one of my colleagues at Access Hollywood, Sean Robinson. She and I did stuff on the weekend show for Access Hollywood together, and we forged a really great friendship. And we would actually do seminars where we would try to help hosts who are just coming up in the business, teaching them the tips and the tools and the tricks to get yourself on TV or create your own channel and create your own platform. So, and we still are very good friends to this day, and we support one another. So she's certainly my favorite of all the people that I've worked with. And then in terms of the digital, I actually really like being able to help people create their own platform. I've actually just signed on to be the creative consultant for a digital network called Well World TV. It's all about sharing experts in the wellness industry, so everything from vegan chefs to chiropractors, functional medicine doctors, and we're just getting a lot of different experts and talent to come be part of this. And some of them have never been on TV before, never been in the digital space, so I'm actually helping them create ideas for digital shows and content, and everything right now is digital content. They say content is king, and so there's a statistic, I think, that 80% of everything that you see online will be video in the next 5 years. So it's important. Video is important.
Well, let me ask you this, then we got to take a quick commercial break. What is your opinion of me, and do you think I'm good enough to work with you or anyone in the entertainment or networking world?
I think you're great. I think you're doing a phenomenal job. I love that you put yourself out there in this way, and I think you should keep doing it. And like I said, I think you keep working towards getting your own studio, and don't let anybody tell that it's not possible, and keep seeing it in your mind's eye, and you will make it happen. And you know what? If you look at YouTube, I mean, do you know how many people have studios in their homes? I know a girl who in San Diego who has a television show and does it from her home. So created a studio space. So it doesn't even matter anymore. That's the great thing about the online world is you can be just as successful sitting in your bedroom as you can in a big studio space. So don't ever put yourself down and think that you're not at the level you want to be, because I know that everybody is in the place that they're meant to be, and you're just growing and evolving, and it will evolve. And just be grateful for the point that you're at so that more can come to you. One of the biggest lessons that I'll say to you is what kept me back at Access Hollywood from moving up the ladder was my focusing so much on what I didn't have. Well, at the time I was only the digital online correspondent, and I really wanted to be on the regular show, on the daily show. And all I did was get angry and upset that never happened for me. And all of those emotions, all they end up doing is keeping you from doing bigger, better things. So as humans, we have to learn to be grateful for where we are and how far we've come, instead of getting to a point where I've come this far and why isn't anybody doing this for me and why am I not getting this now? So just be grateful for where you're at right now and enjoy the ride. And I promise you that more things will start to come for you. More people will pay attention to you. More people will say, oh, I met this guy, or I did this guy's show and he was super sweet and I love his message that he's trying to put out to the disability community, and more things will come. And I think there's probably not a lot of people in your community that are doing this. So you are already several steps ahead of someone. So just keep, plugging along with it.
No, absolutely. I do have a question for you. We can talk about that in a minute. But just like my friend Scotty said, he said, enjoy the journey, not the destination.
Yep, exactly.
Now, with that being said, we're going to...
very wise.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Scotty's very wise.
He is. Now, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we still have 6 minutes left. I'm going to pass the show over to you.
Oh, I like that.
Vanessa Lina. Asian Lalo. This is Cynthia Bastinet. I'm Sonia Fisher. This is Shane Smith.
My name is Alexandra Bowie. This is Amelia Clover.
Hi, I'm Amy Linden.
Hi, I'm Amy Coke Brown.
Meg Green.
Hi, my name is Asata Caldwell. Hi, everybody. I'm Brooke Francie.
Hi, I'm Brynford. Hi, I'm Casey Dunn.
Hi, it's Cassandra Kavinsky. Hi, I'm Christina Briza. I'm Cindy Hogan. I'm Courtney Sinella. Hi, I'm Daisy.
My name is Deborah Jane East.
Hi, my name is Danielle Marcia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Victoria London.
Hi, I'm Heather Crona.
Hi, I'm Heather Callahan Stevens.
Hi, I'm J. Nicole Ralph.
My name is Jamie Patrell. My name is Turi. My name is Julia Brankovich. Kathleen Wills. Kimberly Amato.
Hi, my name is Laura Putnam.
Hi, I'm Laura Chapanis.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Damas.
This is Michelle Mupo, a.k.a. Fuchsia. I'm Rachel Rivera.
Hi, my name is Sarah Joy Mount. Hi, I'm Susan Winder.
Hi, everyone. This is Venus Leone.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Dana. Hi, I'm Stephanie Herrera, and I was just on the Keith Andrew Network. It was tons of fun. We used up all our time and then some. I really recommend this show, and try to be a guest on Keith's show. It was super fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 559. I'm here as talented and beautiful Ms. Saltman, and I just want to say thank you for sticking with me.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to know about you. I want to know what do you see for your future? What do you want to create for your future?
Hey, to be honest, I'm a big wrestling fan. I would love to have a couple wrestlers as friends, hang out with them, buddies. I would love to be on Raw or SmackDown or House Show, for that matter, or any of them. I would like to work for the WWE. I just would, I'm not asking to be an A-lister. if I can be a B-lister, C-lister, as long as people recognize me, like, oh, hey, you're that guy. It's very nice to meet you. And it doesn't matter if I become an A-lister. I'm still going to do what I'm doing, like work in retail. Well, you have all this money. Why you want to work in retail? Because I'm still humble. I'm still going to be the same person as I was, and as I will die, I will be the same person. You know, you look at all these celebrities, say, oh, they have 4 houses, they have 10 cars, they have all these beautiful women. I would love to have these beautiful women around me. But let's say I don't need cars. Why? I don't drive. So having cars to me, it's kind of like a waste of space. You know, having beautiful women around me, that's one. Signing autographs, taking pictures, I would love that. Be center of attention. But I'm still going to work at retail because I like to have one foot in the entertainment world and one foot in reality. And when you're in that reality, you can help people around you. If that makes any sense.
Why do you think you were put on this planet?
To antagonize people. I really don't know. To be honest with you, I really don't know.
Yeah, I think that's something you should explore. I think you should try to work on like figuring out like why were you put on this planet? What were you put on this planet to do?
Well, let me ask you, why were you put on this planet?
I was put on this planet to help heal this planet. I was put on this planet to help wake people up and show them that there's a different way of life. If you read my books, my brother died of cancer. My dad committed suicide. I had lost several babies to miscarriage. I lost a baby in an adoption situation on the day the baby was born. I've had a lot of trauma and tragedy in my life, and yet if you ask my 7-year-old son who's the happiest person he knows, he will say, Mommy. His mom is always happy. Mommy's always smiling. Mommy's always laughing, and that's because I had to make a choice to either go down this rabbit hole and let all of those things destroy me, or to get up every morning and work towards healing, and that's what I tried to do, and that's what I have done. And so my role on this planet is to help others towards healing. And so, but it took me probably 2.5, 3 years to figure that out, and it's something you have to figure out within. No one's going to tell you that, so you have to work towards figuring out like what's your purpose and why are you here. I think what you're doing right now is a great stepping stone to that, and I think you're doing a great job of it, and I think you should keep doing it. And then as you do more of this, more and more opportunities will open up for you in this arena. So keep working towards that goal. And let me tell you something that I know from working at Access Hollywood for 17 years is that being a celebrity is not what it's all about. It's not about that. It's about the messages that you share. It's about what you share with the world, who you're being. I always tell my son that I'm not here to show him what to do. I'm here to show him who to be. So I'm here to show him to be responsible. I'm here to show him to be a good person. I'm here to show him how to be happy. I'm here to show him, how to I'm not here to say, oh, do your homework or do this. It's just I want to teach him who to be. And so you have to look at your life and say, is this who I want to be in every moment that you're living? And I think you're doing that really well right now.
No, I appreciate it. Now, wrapping up our own talk show, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But the first one I was going to ask you is, how can people follow you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn? I know that sounds like an oxymoron because that's how we met. But are you on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Stage 32? Is there any websites you would recommend?
So I'm LauraSaltman.com. That's my website. On Instagram and Twitter, I'm Laura Saltman. Facebook, I'm Laura Saltman Media. On LinkedIn, I'm Laura Saltman. That's the great thing about there's only one other Laura Saltman in the whole other world that I've found so far. So I'm very easy to find. So if you're interested in learning about my books, you can go to my website and learn about that. If it speaks to you, then certainly pick them up, and I think it will show you a completely different way to look at our world.
Well, let me ask you, have you ever thought about doing audiobooks?
Yes, that is on my list. I definitely have an intention to do that, and I will eventually get my books into audio format. I just haven't gotten there yet, but I will.
Well, let me know. I would love to listen to them.
Yeah,
Or if you have any copies of your book, I would love to have a free copy if possible.
I will send you copies of my book.
And my other last question for you, wrapping up. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And after being on the show, would you recommend it to people out there who are not sure about me? And for your friends, would you say, give this guy a chance?
I'll do the questions backwards. Absolutely. I think you're wonderful, and I love what you're doing. And I think, sharing your message and allowing people who do have disabilities to recognize that, you have a great power within you and you need to be using it more is a wonderful message. And I guess that leads into back to the first question is that's why I said yes, is I had told you when I spoke to you that I work with people with disabilities. I have some clients who are autistic that I've been helping over the last year, trying to help them, with some of the struggles that they go through. And so, when you told me your story, I was like, it would be my honor to help you and talk to you and try to share your message as well. So that's why I said yes.
No, I appreciate it. Now we're going to wrap up the show. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. And if your best buddy from that show, I can't even think of the show. If your friend wants to join us, she's more than welcome to. I know she's on Access. If she can help me out, I would really appreciate it.
I think you're doing pretty well, though. I mean, like you said, 559 shows. That's amazing.
It's true.
Yeah, you got to honor that. That's a great. That's just phenomenal that you've done that. So good for you.
No, I appreciate it. Let's keep moving forward.
Exactly. Keep moving forward.
Now, I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but wrapping up, I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. And I'm looking forward to extending my hand to you in friendship as well.
Absolutely.